Welcome to the middle school region helper for the Kohler F Major Etude. This is out of the Selected Studies book on book 10, page 10, and you're only going to have to play just a small portion of this. I'd like to focus on measures 1 through 8, but I'm going to play it for you first before we start breaking it down. So, the way you start learning this, especially if this is your first year to do it, this is a very challenging piece and it looks overwhelming. But if you just take one note per beat just at the beginning and just say each note like we're going to do right now. C, A, B flat, A, G sharp, which is the same thing as A flat, A, F, E, D, C, C sharp, D, B flat, G, C, F, F, E, F, G, F, B flat, A, D, C, G, A, G, F sharp, G, B flat, A, G, G sharp, A, B flat, A, G sharp, A, high A, here's the fingering, thumb, 2, 1, pinky, high F, high D, C, B natural, D, B natural, G, F, E natural, F, G, A, B natural, C, high D, high E, F, B natural, because the natural carries through, C, D, C, B natural, G, C, G, C, E, D, C. So notice I already have the breaths marked in this slide. And again, now we're going to play each note one beat. So go ahead and play along with me, and I literally will play it one note per beat at 60. Here's the metronome, and you can play along with me. We're going to stop for a couple of beats to take a breath. And you're going to relax a little bit. And if you're advanced, go ahead and play the articulation that's written. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and tongue every single note. So play with me. 1, 2, ready. didn't really mean to retongue that tie and measure, what was that, measure 8. Sorry about that. But, and I should have tongued the notes at the very beginning. I don't know if you all caught that, but that's how I like to do it. And it really helps for you to understand how the notes sound, and it kind of takes away the burden of the rhythm, so you can actually go about and learn something even without your teacher, because you can read notes, so you might as well just play them, and that's something to do. So for the next part, notice I drew these green boxes on the slide, and I've also divided it. This is section A. I'll be having videos for section B, C, D, and I think E, and each one will be fairly similar. We're just going to play it through. It's going to be just like practice tracks, so you can practice with me, and you can learn this music very easily. So on this slide, notice I have the green boxes drawn. This is going to be our phrases, and that's where I ended up breathing on the last part that I played. So on this part, you need to write in, turn off that metronome, you need to write in the counting, and the counting is a little bit tricky on the slow etude, so I want you to understand that we're going to take the 8th note is going to get 1 beat. Not the quarter note, but the 8th note. So there are 2 8th notes in 1 quarter note. Therefore, there are 3 8th notes in the dotted quarter note. So that first C is going to be 1 beat. The A, that's the dotted quarter note A in measure 1, is going to be 3 beats. The triplet is going to be counted, it gets beat 4 lolly, because that's how we count triplets, lollies. And then each one of those last 4 notes in measure 1 are 8th notes. They are just beamed differently. They're beamed in groups of 4 instead of groups of 2 like you're used to seeing. So those are still 8th notes, so that's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the C tie in measure 2 is going to get 1, 2. The breath is going to be on beat 3 if you need to take it. Notice I did not take it whenever I played this at the very beginning. That's going to be an option that you may choose to take because it is a very long phrase. But if you get a good breath at the beginning, you shouldn't need to take it. So that C in measure 2 is 1, 2. The breath is on 3. The C sharp is and, 4, and then this G dotted quarter note is 5, 6, 7. It gets 3 beats. So with that, if you look at the 16th notes on their own, they're counted like you would count 8th notes, 1 and 2 and. The dotted quarter notes are 3 beats each, and the 8th notes are 1 beat each. If you look at, you can go ahead and count, write in the counts for measure 3. You should already know how to do that based on what we've said. And in measure 4, that's quite a bit tricky. Measure 4, the G is a quarter note, so as you know, it gets beats. 1, 2, breath is on 3. The A, G, in measure 4 right there, those are 32nd notes. They're going to be counted like 16th notes. If you count 1 E and a 2 E and a, you're going to count this and a 3, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, and a 4 E and a 5, 6, 7, 8. So this 32nd notes would be counted and a 4 E and a, or te ta, 4 ta, te ta, 5, and then the G gets 5, 6, and the G sharp gets 7, 8, because quarter notes get 2 beats. The next measure, measure 5, is exactly the same as measures 1 and 2, so you can go and write in the counts on that. They're just different notes. Please mind that. The A is on 1 ledger line higher than the F. Measure 7. You should be able to fill that counting in based on what you already know. 1 and 2 and, or 1 te, 2 te. Measure 8. Here's the stinker. This is one of the hardest measures in the piece to count. And the C, of course, is going to get 1, 2, and then breathe on 3. And just like in measure 4, you're going to say anda or teta for the D and the C, 30-second notes. But then we have that sixlet. Ooh, that nasty sixlet. It's all in one beat. So it is on beat 4. And it's only beat 4. So what I like to do is say 4 lolly and lolly, or 4 lolly te lolly. I don't know how your band director does it, but that's what works for me. So the C comes on the and of the beat. The B, C, G is on the first half of the beat, and the C, E, G is on the second half of the beat. So it's 4 lolly and lolly, or 4 lolly te lolly, and then that last C before the breath gets beat 5. So take your time, pause it right here, write in your counts. What we're going to do now is to learn one green box at a time. Let's just count it first, that first green box. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4 lolly, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7. Let's count and finger it. Ready, go. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4 lolly, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to play it. By the way, my metronome is at 60. So set your metronome, or just listen to mine, and let's play along. Make sure you're counting in your head. I don't think people say that enough, that you are actually singing the counts in your head, and you're singing the music and you're counting. Sometimes you have to scream it yourself, but it's well worth it. Ready? And at this breath, at the speed, you're going to have to take the slow breaths. Those are the little tiny ones that I've marked. They're smaller than the big breaths. So let's go on to the second green box. We're going to count it first. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 1, 2, 3, and a 4E, and a 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go ahead and count and finger it. Grab that flute. Ready? 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 1, 2, and a 4E, and a 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to play it. Ready, set, hopefully this is one of those pieces that you're going to walk around the house singing in your head, and that's great practicing. You should be thinking about it, and it should just get stuck in your head, and you're like, no, get out. I can't stop singing it. That's when you know you've really got it. So make sure you listen to it a lot. It's hard to find it on the internet because you don't exactly know which Kohler etude it is. But you can listen to me play it, and I think that should be sufficient. Also listen to your private lesson teacher play it. Just get that music in your head. Next box, just like the beginning, okay, except without a pickup. So let's count it. This is box number 3, measure 5 and 6. Ready and count. 1, 2, 3, 4 lolly, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, and 4, and 5, 6, 7. Now, grab that flute, count and finger it. Ready and go. 1, 2, 3, 4 lolly, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to play it with the metronome. Ready, go. And then finally that last green box. By the way, if you're not getting the articulation, that's okay. I've got a slide for that too. So the last green box, let's count and finger it. 8, and notice that's a pickup, that's beat 8, just like the beginning is beat 8. 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and a 4 lolly and lolly 5. Yep, it's really that fast. So let's count and finger it. Ready and go. 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and a 4 lolly and lolly 5. So at that point, if you can't play the sixlet that fast, just stop and practice it, or just leave it out when you're playing it and practice it separately. You don't have to have it like immediately right away. It's hard and it's going to be developed smoothly. You could tongue it, and you can play in different rhythms. All sorts of different ways you can do it. Slur two, slur two, slur two. Anyway, but just stop and practice it. You'll get it very soon. It's okay. And that will be the last thing that you're trying to make smooth right before the audition. So now let's play this with a metronome. Starting in the pickup to measure 7, beat 8. That's an F natural. Ready? And remember the B natural carries through in measure 7. Ready? All right, step 3, measures 1 through 8. Again, these steps are going to be repeated throughout the piece. This is just section A. What I've done here is highlight where you articulate. So when I say the articulations and finger, it's going to sound really stupid. I'm sorry, but it really makes a difference in how you play. So you've got this melody in your head. You're going to take it box by box by box, and we're going to do each one of those 3 steps. So section A, it'll sound like this to say the articulations and do your fingering. Here's what it sounds like. Ta, 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 ta. Okay, and after a breath, if you do take a breath in the middle of a slur, you can tongue that note. That's fine. Then we're going to play with the correct counting, notes, and articulations, and maybe let's speed the metronome up a little bit. Maybe you've gotten a little bit more advanced. Let's try to speed it up to where the 8th note equals 80. You know, it's actually our goal to try to have the quarter note equal 1 beat to develop flow, but we're learning it. So the 8th note equals 1 beat. Here we go, at 80, a little bit faster, and I'm going to practice the tonguing. So we're going to start in the green box, second group, the articulation. Everywhere there's a gray box, you're going to tongue. And it sounds like this. Ta, ta. Oh, make sure you're fingering. Ta, 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 ta. Now nobody's hearing you do this. You're in the comfort of your own room, and you know, you got the door closed, so don't worry about how you sound. This really is helpful. Now let's play it. Ready? And the next green box sounds like this. So I'm just saying the articulations and fingering. Ta, 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 ta. There you go. Just one green box. Now, let's play it. Ready, go. And then the last green box. Those dots underneath the slur mean that you're going to tongue it smoothly. So smoothly connected like this. Versus separated. So it sounds like this. Ta da 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 ta ta ta. And all that slurred. All right, here we go. Let's play it. Ready, go. Yep, gets a little trickier at the end there at 80. The last step that we're going to do is step 4, and this is going to be, we're going to bump it up to 100. We're going to try to put together the entire selection. We're going to pause a couple of beats between each measure, between each box. So that way you're going to have time to take a breath, relax, kind of piece together what you learn and remember. And I'm going to keep it at 80. The final tempo you'd want to do it at would be about 100 minimum, maybe a little faster, although 80 is kind of comfortable. So what we're going to do is count and finger the whole thing. 8, 1, 4 lolly, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, and 4 and 5. 8, 1, 4, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and a 4E and a 5, 7, 1, 4 lolly, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 4 and 5. 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. 8, 1 and a 4 lily and lily 5. Now if you notice, I held the counts out for the long notes. 1, like that. It's harder to do it that way because you can't really remember what beat you're actually on whenever you come out of it. 8, 1, 1 lolly, 2. Oh no, it's not 1 lolly, it's 4 lolly. So once you get more advanced in your counting and you've got it written up there, you can go ahead and hold those long notes in your counting. So I hope you were fingering. Now we're going to say the articulations and finger through the whole thing. I'm not going to take a rest and stuff while I'm between each box while I'm just doing all this fingering. So say and articulate and finger. Ta 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 da 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 ta ta ta. Yes. Normally, I was thinking as I was doing that, you don't want to clip the ends of the slurs. Make sure you listen for that. So we don't want to go like in measure 6. You definitely don't want to sound like that. You'll want to sound like this. Or where the B is a little bit more disconnected from the G. All right, now let's play through the whole thing. Now we're going to pause in between each box. Make sure you're counting in your head. Let's do it. Ready, set. Ready. Relax your shoulders, relax your fingers. Ready. Ready. So finally, I'd like to talk with you a little bit about musicality. And dynamics, ornaments, which are grace notes and trills, and beauty of the music come mostly from playing it a lot, getting it ingrained in your head, learning it correctly, learning it slow enough, taking your time, and listening to a lot of people playing this very well. Listening to your teachers, listening to this video, trying to find it on YouTube. You can Google Kohler Lento a Cantabile Flute Etude. That might bring up some stuff. And but mainly it's about being able to make, I hate to say to make the breaths or make the phrases. You know, sometimes you just have to breathe when you need to make it beautiful because you don't want to die. But you don't want to sound like you're dying just to make the breath. But, you know, where we have those big breaths are the end of a phrase. Some teachers may move it a note or two one way or the other, but for the most part, that's really good phrasing. So you want to practice from box to box and think about where the beginning of the phrase is, where the height of the phrase is, where the ending of the phrase is. And essentially, this whole section is one big long phrase. That's part of a bigger piece. And the whole piece that you're going to play is one big phrase, grouping the sections. So you've got micro phrases, which are our boxes, and then they group together in bigger phrases like a paragraph. And then the paragraphs of the sections are put together to make a story, which is your whole piece that you're going to play. Now, they're only going to ask a portion of this piece. Dynamics are really important. So you need to go back and practice your dynamics in all the ways that we just played this piece. But remember, it's about contrast. You know, practice your scales soft, practice your scales loud, practice them crescendoing, practice them decrescendoing. Scales are something familiar that you know that you can practice all sorts of different tasks on. And you also have to do them for the audition, so be sure to see my scales helper. And soft does not mean slow. So make sure you don't slow down whenever you get soft. You can slow a little bit at the end of a big phrase, but sometimes we need to keep going. Playing musically is about flow and direction. You have to think about where you're going, where the height is, where the ending is, and where the beginning of whatever it is you're playing. and making sure that you take the breaths that are marked, that's going to help you play musically. Last thing, never underestimate the power of a beautiful sound on every single note. Vibrato also makes a huge difference in how you play this piece, and playing it soft like pianissimo without any vibrato, and then adding your dynamics without vibrato, and then play it through for a third time with vibrato. That's going to help you think about really what the music sounds like just bare, and then you're going to add a little bit each time, and you'll start to play very beautifully on this piece once you get the technique down of it. So thank you so much for listening, and you've had one great 30-minute practice. Your teacher would be proud. Do this for each section. You'll have the whole piece learned, and you can go back and redo. You can listen to it or just play along with the first part. You can jump to different sections based on what you see on the slides. You can just pause the slides and play each slide. I'll see you in the next video.